More data post Age of Overlord for you today. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button. And remember, if you use discount code MCO40 over at Kong's Cards, you will get the chance to save on your purchase. Alright, so your top 16 breakdown here is quite interesting because Tearlaments is our most represented deck in the top 16. Now, this is not going to hold true in the top 8 here in a second when we get there, but okay. We also had 2 Flonderies decks. Man, what is up with these birds, man? They have been just an annoyance, and they've been doing actually pretty well. We also had 2 Infernoble decks. Okay. We also had 2 Manadeum, and then we have 2 regular branded piles, and then a branded illusion deck. So technically we have 3 branded decks present in the top cut, but they are separated for reasons. And then we have 1 Unchained, 1 Kashtira, a Labyrinth, and a Sword. Wait a minute, Robbie, did you say a Kashtira deck made their way into Top Cut? What's up with that? What's going on here? Well, it actually did happen. Now, our top 8. Robbie, did the Kashtira deck make it? Yes, it did. It did make its way into top 8. Unfortunately, it got bullied by one of the Flonderies duelists, and, you know, there's not really much you can really do about that, you know. Hate to tell you this, but dealing with the birds and, you know, Dimension Shifter, I know that's a strange thing to say, can really ruin your day. Most represented decks in top 8 were 2 Flonderies. Man, those birds. Let me tell you what. Both of our Infernoble duelists did make their way on in to top 8. We also had an Unchained, a Kashtira, Tearlaments, and Labyrinth. That's a pretty diverse top cut, actually. Now, if you think a lot of these things are going to advance in the top 4, well, I have bad news for you. We'll take a look here at decks in a second, but Flonderies did a bang-up job on a lot of this top 8. It was fairly impressive. Let's pass on over to deck list. Our event here was actually the power of Angel's Ring here, and watching the combo potential of this deck actually was insane. I'm genuinely impressed by just how much power this deck had. No Ken and Gen in this build, though there is a Ken and Gen build a little bit further down. Most of this deck's chances of doing well were actually because of Forbidden Droplet. It was amazing just seeing how stupid good Droplet was for this deck as it climbed its way out of the jaws of defeat. So good. Second place was our Tearlaments duelist, and Braum Pogue has been a very consistent contender. You've seen in a lot of these tournaments, and the list doesn't really change all that much. It does prove that, you know, once you're kind of set in your ways and you know what you're doing, you don't really have to change a lot of the innovative options and things that you've got bringing to the table. I still love the fact that at least somebody out here is playing Lingaribo still. All right, I don't want to lose to something really terrible. All right, and the fact that this is still here to help is really good. All right, we get into our Flonderies decks in 3rd and 4th back here. Dimension Shifter is an amazing card. This card will destroy so many people. All right, and it's one of the biggest things I'm going to tell you here. All right, this card gets so much work in right now, and you're going to see in a lot of these future matches, if you do see this card, you're going to town. Also, this card was also very, very strong. All right, so many duelists had such an issue dealing with Harpy's Featherstorm. Card's busted. And then we have our other Flonderies duelist. Actually, the biggest change you're seeing here is the fact that we are playing evenly matched in the main deck. This does help out in essentially all the roguish matchups. You know, you're able to slam down evenly and clean up any sort of issues that you think you're going to be seeing. And it does hold true, especially, you know, if you're going into some of these other stranger matchups where you're like, oh, wow, you know, like, this kind of stinks. Well, even these here to kind of help you equalize and get the chance to do your thing. We also have Labyrinth, sporting off only 1 copy of Arius. Now, we don't have transaction rollback. Man, I don't know why we don't have transaction rollback yet, but it's okay. I also see that we are sporting off Gamma with the driver here, and of course, double Doomsday Star Horror down here. Alright, so we've got pretty much our bases covered for what you want to see, and yes, we are playing a copy of Simul Archfiends down here. That's kind of cute. Okay. We also have the power of the pile. And you know, a lot of people are talking about playing Ken and Gen in this deck. You don't see that here. No, actually, this is probably by far one of the most consistent piles that I think that you could see. It's still playing the Dark Contract stuff with the Vice King Requiem. And you do see the Change of Heart interactions as well. Yeah, all the I'll take your opponent's monsters so they actually can't play the game. Or, oh, that's something troublesome. Let's go ahead and stack on up into, you know, a Zeus or something along the way. All right, we have our Kashtira deck. Now, this is actually pretty impressive. You know, with no Rise Heart, this has just kind of became like rank 7 turbo, where you're relying on Fenrir's and Unicorns to kind of clean up a lot of the problems that you've been doing. Also, Birth is a stupid, insane card. You also are citing Dimensional Fissures. Honestly, you see a fissure, you're probably going to go into a pretty good position out here. Like, this is actually pretty solid. This is going to be one of the main reasons why a deck like this does good. And then we have our other Infernoble deck, and there you see triple again with the 1 Ken. Honestly, I like these ratios a lot. If you're going to start messing around with this stuff, especially in Infernoble, this is so good. This gives you justification for spamming good cards like this, especially, you know, post-side decking where you can bring in power cards like Thrust and just kind of, you know, tear your opponent apart. It's hilarious to me that that's what you can get away with. All right. Hey, we have Branded. Stinks' deck got 9th place, but you know, Branded Fusion and friends still does prove to us that it is a little bit more of a consistent monster when it needs to be. Still playing the cross-out designators. Yeah, I'm going to make sure that my my Branded Fusion resolves. I'm not trying to get Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Who do you think I am? This card resolving is pretty much death. I also see that we are citing some spooky dogwoods down here for time. And of course, a Garou and a Muddragon for side decking. Okay. We also are playing, hi, it's another True Elements list. So this is where you see the Shyama that a lot of people have been talking about. This has kind of turned into a pretty big tech choice. Azalea. Braum Poke does not believe in this, though. Alright, Braum Poke is set in the ways of hitting the RNG Mill 13, Mill 12. It's so good. I see that we're playing a Night Sword Serpent here as well. You know what? This is a little cute interaction. Maybe more people should explore some of this stuff. I also see we have, hi Brandon. How are you? You know, you feel really just powerful when you're slamming down Gimmick Puppet Nightmares and you're walking all the way to the bank, you know, just laughing at your opponent. There's the Thrust Talents interactions, and this build is actually playing a Fusion Duplication. We've seen in the past that Fusion Duplication does work out being, you know, a fun little extender in case something does go wrong. It does, trust me when I say this. This card can end up being amazing when it needs to be. Hey, Sword Soul! How are you? This is the most basic Sword Soul pile in the universe, where you're playing double Thrust to be able to toggle into a Dark Will no more, or maybe an Evenly Matched. You know, maybe something has gone sideways somewhere. You know, just go ahead and call up your friends. Double tie is pretty standard. I see that we are citing double Spooky Dogwood down here as well. There's your Herald of the Abyss, of course. You got to make sure that your Pearly matchup isn't really looking you in the eyes too much. Hey, and we have more Tier Elements for you. You know, I'm going to say it. That's a lot of Shyama back here. I also see with the Denier and the Maliciouses as well. I see which camp these duelists believe in. All right, maybe we should go back to the Braum Poke strategy of the RNG mill. Of course, you have the little Time Manipulator, you have the Power Thrust, and of course your dear friend Talents as well, with some Kaijus as well. Also love the little danger package we got going here. Okay, the little Mirror Knight Swordsman deck, yes, with Versago the Destroyer. I love the fact that we have the Draconite Draco quest down here. We are not playing the new guy. No Bahamut down here. Don't need it. I feel like the deck's a little bit more optimized. I mean, what are you going to do, take out your Super Poly target? No, I don't think so. It comes down to deck building, I feel like, for what you are going to try to patch out for optimized results, but you don't always have to adapt. This card's really good, too. What else we got back here? Hi, Manadium. How are you? I see we have our Visas Samsara. Good stuff. Okay. This is fine. I see that we have our Scareclaw package as well. SP Little Knight. We're signing the reframing. Okay. Well, I suppose you don't always have to go crazy for the lines of play. The triple Vicious Estrade. Man, the fact you can make so many of these. Looking at the more optimized build of this is a struggle, but I understand it. And of course, we have both of our decks made their way to the back of the pile. We are playing one copy of Synchro Rumbo. This card is really, really good. Alright, I think a lot of people kind of underestimate just being able to tuck this into but it's unsearchable unless you search for something with Synchro in the name. True. But it does set up for some more crazy plays, and also, to be honest here, Triskeluta is a really good extender for this deck. Outside of that, that would be your breakdown for the Kong's Cards tournament. Remember, use discount code MCOOL40. You'll get the chance to save on your purchase. You guys have a good rest of your day, all right? Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.